Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gavra Racing League 1, and I'm excited to be commentating on the action once again. I'm Jack TM53, your commentator, as always, for this Tier 1 lobby around what is a spectacular circuit in Montreal, the Gilles Villeneuve circuit in Canada, and lap times are already coming in. And what is looking to be a low grip qualifying session. It seems that there's a lot of overcast cloud in the sky. It seems there's a low grip track surface as well. We've got a lot to look forward to after what was earlier today, any case, a very frenetic and frantic set of two races that we had in Tier 2. But before we talk about League 1, Tier League 1, of course, I do want to just have a quick mention of the Drivers' Championship standings. Currently leading the top spot of everybody is GRL Viper on 75 points after his victory last week in Portimao. Shortbread is second on 49 points in the Mercedes, with Bumper 225 third on 41. Ben Roberts is fourth on 38 points in the McLaren, and X-Natty G is fifth on 27. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull are leading the way on 81 points, with Williams second on 68. Mercedes are third on 51, with McLaren 3 points back on 48, and Ferrari are fifth on 28 points. So that is the championship as it stands going into today's racing around a brilliant circuit, 2.71 miles long, 4.5 or 4.3 kilometers, I should say, for those that prefer using KMs. And it's been around for quite some time, you know, built in 1978. It's been a big part of the Formula One Championship for pretty much since its opening 35 years ago. I should say 45 years ago would be more accurate, of course. I missed a one there. But for the drivers in this league in particular, it seems it's a very split mix in terms of those that enjoy the circuit and those that don't. So we'll see whether that has an impact on the total running order come the end of today. GRL Vipers saying that apparently the rain is coming in, and I did suspect that would be the case. For the circuit looks a lot, the track surface looks a lot different compared to a bone dry track. It looks a little bit more slippery. There's a bit of a sheen to the top of it. A number of drivers who aren't out of the pits yet: Psycho, Terra Teddy, JMB Surreal, and Billy Misu. So those four, whether they have a qualifying ban or not, if they do have the options to set a lap time, they had better get out there as soon as they possibly can. But good evening to everybody. We're open for we seem to be expecting a dry race as well around the 14 corners of this Montreal circuit. And currently I'm just watching Josh Trekboss 69420, who's in 12th place, just coming up to set his first lap on the soft compound. Nice and committed through the final corner. Let's have a look at what this lap time is from Josh. It's a 1:10.5. That's a good effort to get him on the second row of the grid there. And he just slows the car down. He gets overtaken by our current team. Well, could I say teammate? Teammate to the championship leader, which is GRL Dino, 99. He's had a couple of unfortunate incidents in the opening couple of races as GRL Dino, but the pace has been there. Just about finding that consistency for this evening, and hopefully he'll be able to do that for the Red Bull. 16 drivers in for tonight as well, so a good field around a track that has been on the calendar in Formula One for, as I said earlier, you know, for the best part of 45 years in terms of this specific iteration of the Gilles Villeneuve circuit. That's been around for 20, but the track has only ever been off the calendar maybe 2 or 3 times, just for intervening years when it was rotating with America and the Dallas Grand Prix back then. So a couple of times it has swapped out, but it is one of the fan favourites. And I'm just watching GRL just build up to a lap as he goes onto one now. So let's see how he gets on. And rain is starting to fall here at Montreal. I've just started to clock that on the halo of GRL Dino, who's coming through the quick chicane at turn 3 and 4, now through the sweeper at 5. Ben Roberts with a great effort to do a 1 minute 10.2. Fractionally faster than Viper, but that is an encouraging effort for the McLaren driver. Last year's Tier 2 champion, a race winner this season. He is looking especially quick today. There were some very quick lap times in Tier 2 as well. I believe the lap was, oh, that's a bit messy between Knight / Ben Roberts, and I think that was the Haas of Jolt, actually. Both trying to get out of the way of Knight / which they did, but that could have been a huge accident. But yeah, there was and Viper responds in kind with a 1 minute 10.2, 300ths quicker than the McLaren. That's expected from the championship leader. It seems dialed in. I know that he did say last week he wasn't a fan of this circuit, but so far so good for the Red Bull man. Yeah, just a little bit of rainfall, nothing enough at the moment, I don't think, to make a difference to the circuit, but the track temperature will be colder as a result, so that will affect tyre preparation for the drivers. They have to ensure that they get the setup dialed in correctly on their warm-up lap. When I say setup, I mean the tyre setup, the prep for that. Shortbread up to 3rd, by the way, last season's Tier 1 champion. Currently 2nd in the championship at the moment. Really needs to make a little bit of an impact on Viper tonight, does Shortbread. If he wants to fight for this crown. Still 3 sets of rounds after this event though, so there's plenty of time. Shortbread will want to make a bit of an impact. But going back to my original point, yes, the drivers in Lobby 2 were setting some really competitive lap times. They were also in the 1 minute 10s. Four drivers were in the 1 minute 10s. So it seems that Canada brings the field closer together, which is good to see. And that's also, I just want to make a quick point out here to CT Pat, who's qualified, well, currently in 13th position. He's just going out, trying to get out for another lap, but I fear he might have just missed out on the best of the dry conditions. He is only 7/10 behind Shari in 12th, and he's only 1.1 off the top 10. That's the closest he's been this season in Lobby 1, Tier 1 in the Gavra Racing League, and that's a really good effort from him. That's just showing you the progress he's making around what is still a very technical circuit. I know a couple of people say that it's just a circuit with chicanes, but got to be very precise to gain lap time around here, and there could be a lot more time than people realise that can be found. So fair play to CT Pat, and hopefully for him he can set another competitive lap time. But rain is just starting to come down a little bit heavier now. Who else is on a lap? Josh Trekfoss, he's just building onto a lap. He's flicking it through the final chicane now. Hopefully the race director can get on board with him, because I'll talk you through a lap of Canada. So swings through this right-hand corner to set himself up for turn 1. A left and then a right, pretty straightforward, and Jos flicks it up, short shifts into 4th gear. Nice traction control in terms of his right foot there. Then 5th gear through the right-hand left, that turns 3 and 4, which is nicely done and completely flat around this right-hander. Got to spot your braking marker for the left-hander at turn 6, and then upshifts twice, just short shifting does Jos to get himself the perfect line. It's been a very tidy lap so far from the Ferrari. And he brakes as he comes under the Rolex advertising holding, flicks the curb right and left once again. This is another solid set of corners. Rain still, of course, getting heavier as we go along. One last major braking zone after the hairpin, which Jos has nailed quite nicely. Up through the gears very quickly. Builds up to towards 200 miles an hour around this Montreal circuit. You can see the speedo increasing. He's going to approach 200 miles an hour. He'll probably hit it, and he does indeed. Brakes at the 100-meter marker. 4th gear, flicks the car through. Oh, and he just caught the curb, and round he went. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a direct example of how the wet weather can just maybe not change the conditions on the circuit, but on the curbs in particular, because of the material that they're made of. So Jos, unfortunately, he was keeping up with his time. Whether he'd approved is another matter, but unfortunately he's missed out on that chance. A couple of drivers in the pits. Ben Roberts, Shortbread, Jolt, Vipers going out for another lap time. So he thinks that the weather isn't going to get much heavier, and watching it from his T-cam that I have at the moment, it doesn't look as if the rain is bad in certain parts of the track. I think the approach to where Viper is at the moment, turn 10 at the hairpin, I think that's quite difficult. There's a bit more rain there. Responding to a comment that John O'Power has put in the comments on Twitch, just to say, what's the weather for the race? The weather seems to be dry as far as we're aware, John, but you never know. This is Gavra. It does have a tendency to flick things up and change it for the matter. Jolt's going out as well. He thinks he's got another lap in him. Don't know if Josh is going to have enough time. But who knows? Maybe the track surface is still not wet enough to impact the lap time. But having said that, I've just watched GRL Viper back out of that lap. Josh goes into the pit lane. Natty G going for another flying lap. So he's building onto it now. One of the fan favourites in 11th place. Long-time member, of course, of the Gavra racing community is ex-Natty G. This has been a challenging season for him so far. He's looking for a return to the top step of the podium if he can do. It's going to be very difficult in a field that is so tightly spread. The top 11 separated by less than 1 second so far, which is impressive considering how competitive these drivers are. Just shows you the level that they are competing at. Watching X90G's second delta time, and he's 2/10 down, so perhaps the weather has just come away from the pure dry tyre running that we had earlier in the session, unless somebody can find a bit of grip out there. Night Slash also going onto a lap. The top 7 outside of Viper are all in the pits at the moment. Oh, Viper just nudging the wall actually on the exit of turn 4 there. And he's 3.5 temps down, so I don't think the grip's there anymore. Ooh, big wiggle from one of the Alpha Tauris. It's Billy Misu actually, yeah, on the exit of turn 10. He almost went round. He's going for an outlap, but I don't think the lap time's there. I think, let's just watch JRL Viper's second sector time. He's 1.3 down now. I feel that the best of the dry conditions are gone, and I feel that for those that have set a lap time, that's it. I don't think there's going to be any further improvement unless the session becomes dry in the next 2.5 minutes. Viper just saying conditions are wet, and it looks it. It really does. Seeing who else is out there. Terra Teddy is on an outlap, although I can hear his traction control just kicking in a little bit for a couple of those opening corners. So I don't think Terra Teddy is going to move up, well, apart from past Psycho to maybe 14th, I think Terra Teddy will end up. But we had a wet affected race earlier in tier 2, right at the end it was. On the final lap it was fully wet intermediate conditions, but fortunately for a couple of drivers, including the top 3, they were around most of the circuit by that point, and they only had to tiptoe through the chicane where the Wall of Champions is to survive. That was a fascinating battle. Terra Teddy is going to try and make a go of it. Even Psycho has now come out as well. So it'll be a battle of the... I mean, we might have a little bit of a battle here. It might be who could be the fastest soft tyre runner on what should arguably be crossover conditions between the dry and the intermediate compound tyre. Maybe we'll have that as a little battle at the end of the session. But it does seem as if that Viper has got pole position secured again this season. He didn't get it last week at Portimao. That did go to shortbread. But Viper back on the top spot where he believes he should be. Watching Terra Teddy as he comes around technically the third chicane of the lap at turns 8 and 9. On the brakes down into second gear, into first gear, in fact, to get the car turned out. Someone selected intermediates in the pit lane. Terra Teddy slowed down then on the back straight. I wonder if he just decided to maybe go for it again, or did he invalidate his lap? It looks like he has actually. So Terra Teddy will have one more chance at setting a competitive lap time, although to be honest, he's got a Mercedes in his way of Miles M. I don't know if that's going to happen for him. So I'll watch Psycho, who's in 14th. That is the session over, completed. Everyone who's set a lap time, they can't go back out again. It'll all come down to the drivers who are trying to improve on their laps, which in these conditions is so tricky to do. Jolt is one of those in 4th place. He's approaching the final 2 corners. Quite tentative was Jolt as he went through there. He's already a good few seconds down, so he's not going to improve. Psycho then, can he make any impression on the cars in front of him? I don't think he will. He is going to set a lap time. It's a 1:13.5. Just shows you where the conditions are at this point. And Miles M is the only other driver on a competitive lap, or however, I haven't said competitive. He is at 1:12 as he comes out of this final corner, so he's definitely not going to improve. That's the end of qualifying then. Terra Teddy crosses the line. And that is that for the first session. So it's GRL Viper who takes pole position yet again here at Gavra Racing, the Tier 1 League. Ben Roberts lines up alongside him, hoping for a repeat of Miami. Will Ben no doubt be looking for. Shortbread 3rd with Jolt 4th. Then it's Josh Trekfoss in 5th, Umper 225 and 6th. GRL Dino 7th with Night Slash, Miles M and Billy Misu ran out the top 10. X90G just outside the top 10 there in 11th with Shari, CT Pat, Psycho and Terra Teddy did set a lap time, but it was one not representative, and JMB Surreal will start from the back of the grid in the AlphaTauri without having set a lap time. 2 Red Bulls, 2 McLarens, 2 Mercedes in the top 10, so the fight for the constructors is certainly looking competitive. But we are allegedly going to have a dry race at Canada for the first race of the evening, because of course the format has changed for tonight's session. This was built into the calendar, of course. It's at the start of the year. For those that are unaware, there are a couple of events that are different in terms of whether they're sprint races or full 50% races. Today, Canada is a double 25% race, so it's going to be very frenetic in the opening laps, but it's a case of whether Viper or Ben Roberts will get the best start and how the strategy will play out. It does look a little bit overcast for the race. Whether we'll get any rain is another matter, but we are seconds away from the red lights going out here in Montreal. Who will get the race victory, the first one of the evening? Let's see how we get on. So it's the Red Bull on the right hand side and the McLaren on the left of your screen. Who's going to get the best start? And the race is live here from Canada. It's a really poor start from that Viper. He's gone backwards already. And Ben Roberts is fighting with Shortbread into turn 1. That's a good bit of fighting, but Shortbread and Ben Roberts make a little bit of contact. Who's going to get the drive out of turn 2? They're side by side. Ben Roberts is on the quarter panel, but he slots himself back in. Jolt is 3rd, Dino up to 4th, good start for him. Josh is 5th, and there's a huge amount of chaos actually alongside Umper and Josh. Umper up to 5th. Josh in 6th place. Oh, there's a McLaren in the wall. The Viper's been turned round. The championship lead is facing the wrong way and he's down to 16th, but it's Shortbread who won't care about any of that. He is in the lead thanks to a really good start and problems for his main rivals. Miles M and Sharia ended up the wrong way as well. Not sure what's gone on with those two. But unfortunately for Viper, he's lost 13 places before we even finish the first lap. Shortbread though has the lead. Then it's Ben Roberts. Dino, I said he made a good start. He's up 4 places. Jolt 4. Umper 5th, Josh 6th. I tell you who's made the best start though, it's the Aston Martin of Psycho. He's up 7 places from 14th. What a start for him. Natty G is 8th. Terra Teddy's up 6 as well, he's in 9th. Billy Misu is joined by his teammate J&B Surreal in the AlphaTauri in 11th place. He's up from the back of the grid, so good start for those couple of drivers who I mentioned. And CT Pat running in 12th, which is good to see. Big fight going on for 8th place. Terra Teddy has got past Billy Misu, puts himself into 8th position, which is important at this stage of the race. Now, in terms of the compounder tyres that everybody's running, this is important for strategy. It's a 25% race. The drivers currently, at the moment, are the front two, Shortbread and Ben Roberts, are both running the medium compound tyre. They'll be running a similar strategy, and it'll come down to not only who's the quickest, but whether the undercut or overcut will be in effect around Montreal. You've got Dino and Jolt on the soft tyres behind. Dino potentially on for a podium for the first time this season, if he can hang on. But he's also got Umper, Joss, Psycho, Terra Teddy, Bilamisu and Natty G all within a second of the respective car in front, as Viper moves up to 11th. He's got a lot of work to do. Excuse me. Night Slash, you did get turned around in that opening lap. Seems, well, they didn't say turned around, but he did get pushed into the wall on the opening lap. I don't think he's got damage as far as I'm aware. But he's running in 13th. Fortunately for him, he's not far off the back of the pack. And that is Jolt up the inside of Dino. A little bit of contact between the two. Dino, I thought he was going to go around. They fortunately managed to keep it in a straight line. But those two swap places. Jolt, a man on a mission. But I've got to say, the front two are already gone and up the road. 2.2 seconds. And DRS is now active on this lap. So can Dino fight back at the Haas in front of him? Got to represent his team whilst his championship leading teammate is down outside the top 10 at the moment, but that can all change, of course. Oh, Umper trying to move. A little bit of contact. Where's Joss in all of this? This is a chance for him to get some momentum onto the back straight on the exit of the hairpin at turn 10, but they're side by side, Umper and Dino into turn 10. Oh, where's Tycho come from? He hits the side of GRL Dino. He got that all wrong. Well done to Joss for avoiding all that, but that was a bit clumsy from the Aston Martin. Psycho does look like he's got some speed though. Goodness me, look at that straight line speed from the Aston Martin. He's flying past two cars, and Psycho goes from 7th to 5th before we even get to turn 11. That is an incredibly fast Aston Martin in a straight line. Probably explains how he ended up clattering the side of the Red Bull into turn 10. But still, there's a big fight going on. Viper now has the fastest lap of the race. I'm not surprised. He had a bit of clean air in front of him to move into. Natty G picks up a time penalty. That was Terra Teddy almost running into the wall. Got to say, the fight at the front's really fascinating as well. Shortbread and Ben Roberts just separated by about half a second. They both know how important it is to try and gain some points on Viper at the moment. Maybe it's a time for them not to fight just yet. As Natty G goes back past Terra Teddy. All this is doing is holding up Viper at the moment. Oh, big wiggle from Natty G. Viper avoids it, moves up to 10th. And you feel that Terra Teddy is now in the clutches of the Red Bull behind him. I have to say, Joss is doing a good job as well. Just he's got a chance to move past GRL Dino, and the DRS is open. Had a really good run out of the corner, did Joss, and the Ferrari moves up to 6th place. Ben Roberts, this is a chance for Ben Roberts for the lead. Up the inside, they make contact. The race leaders have gone round. Ben Roberts, can he get back on the circuit? He's all over the grass, he gets back on the track. He's off it again, he's just about recovered. Terra Teddy, I think, is going to try and do a switch back on him. Oh, they make contact, that was very unnecessary. Ben Roberts is trying to hang on. Oh, there's contact again between the two, and Terra Teddy, I think, has got a broken front wing. That was clumsy, the two of them together. Terra Teddy's not going to be happy with that. GRL Viper will be. He's going to have DRS available. Currently, Shortbread, half second clear, in the lead of the race, in first position. Currently, though, in third place, Umper, right behind Jolt. And he's got DRS. Swings to the outside line. They're going to be side by side into the penultimate corners, but no, Umpa later on the brakes, past the soft tyres, shod Haas car. Through he goes, and Psycho, whoa, squeezed to the wall. The Aston Martin goes through, and Viper pits and picks up a 5-second time penalty. The championship leader, when it goes wrong, it goes wrong. And Umpa has picked up a time penalty, but this time his is for track limit infringements. And he's going to have to deal with that now for the rest of the race. He's got Psycho behind him. Psycho looks like he's got an unbelievably rapid car in a straight line. He's certainly hanging on through the corners, but Psycho absolutely looking like the man to beat in a straight line. Shortbread won't know this. He's out in front. He's 3.5 seconds clear. But if Psycho gets anywhere closer, he might have to start thinking about managing his ERS to combat what is clearly a missile in a straight line from the Aston Martin. So, DRS open for Psycho. See, the race director is following the Williams and the Aston Martin. Ooh, Psycho, you can see just struggling to get the car turned into the apex. He loses a bit of time. Jolt goes into the pits. He was on the soft compound tyre. He's stuck the mediums on. And Ben Roberts, well, that just shows you, doesn't it? A new fastest lap of the race from Ben Roberts on those medium tyres, 1:12.3. What could be? There's still time left in this race for Ben Roberts to have an impact, maybe even finish in the top 5 at the moment. He's 6th, so it's definitely not out of the realms of impossibility. But at the moment, oh, Umpa's round. The man in second place, Umpa 225, on the mediums, has lost it on the exit of turn 9 and has dropped to 10th. Oh dear, oh dear. That is unfortunate for Umpa. He's going to have to try and switch his mind back on as best he can, take his time, get the tyres up to back down into temperature, an operating temperature window. I'll find my words eventually, ladies and gentlemen. As Billy Misu, the last of the soft tyre runners, comes into the pits. That's about right for the AlphaTauri to come in. This is a regulation pit stop for him. And he goes onto the medium tyres as expected. Now, I've got to say, Miles is in 7th place now as a result of the pit stops around him. I know that the race director will be watching somebody else, which is absolutely fine. But Miles is on the hard tyres, the only one in the grid who has done that. He doesn't have any time penalties, which is positive, and he's still yet to pit. So he's one to watch out for in the next couple of laps. We saw in the races earlier within Tier 2 that the medium tyre main performance started to go out around lap 8 where we're at now. The hards should be able to go, relatively speaking, all the way to lap 16 without losing too much tyre wear. So who knows? Maybe Miles is one to keep an eye on for the remaining laps. Shortbread carries on though to do another lap, just looking to see the closest fights on circuit. It is Miles and Night Slash at the moment for 6th place. Miles has DRS at the moment, but he's nowhere near close enough. Night Slash doesn't have DRS available to him, but he's less than a second behind JMB Surreal. Is Miles going to be close enough? Not quite into turn 1. Umpa and Shari side by side in the meantime for 8th place. Good clean fighting between the two of them. Shari having a good bit of screen time, hopefully. Umpa goes round, but Shari, it's another step forward this for the Ferrari. Oh, and Night Slash has been overtaken by Miles in the end. I saw a very slow McLaren going through turn 5. I wonder if he had a poor exit. Didn't quite catch that from my perspective, but we're on to the halfway mark of the race now. 9 laps down, 9 still to go. Just looking at the gaps between the drivers. Still a lot to play for yet in these remaining 9 laps. Those that have already pitted for into medium tyres, they will be able to make it to the end of the race on that compound. That won't be a problem. But the question remains whether they are going to be competitive enough at the end of the race. A couple of people have said in the comments, from what I could see, that the tyre wear for the mediums can last potentially for all the race if they were able to not stop. So that just shows you the abrasion on the tyres around this track for the medium and the hard compound tyres. Not really a problem. They will be for the softs, however. Shortbread though, 4 seconds clear, leading the way. Happily minding his own business. Oh, that's Umper past Night Slash. That's a good move for 7th place. Oh, X90G's race is going from bad to worse. He's down to 15th. He's had a bit of a spin out on track. Guys, I'm going to come back to Shari here. I know that there is a big fight for 5th place on circuit, currently headed by J&B Surreal. But I want to give praise to Shari. This is the most competitive performance I've seen from him this season. He's hanging out with the group for the fight in 5th place. And he's doing himself a really good job. I hope he can carry this on. I don't want to curse him, but he should be proud of what he's done so far. Here's Miles then, for 5th place. J&B Surreal goes to the inside line. Miles has got DRS available. Squeeze to the outside line, but he's got it round the outside in the Mercedes. J&B Surreal trying to fight back, but he's left too much room. However, he got the unlike Umper, and he at least manages to hold on to 6th place. So Miles with a great setup, nice overtake. He's up to 5th. And Ben, who's that round? That's Psycho. Psycho's dropped it on the exit of turn number 7. Wow. The Aston Martin's gone round. He was in a great position for a podium, but that's not the case anymore. He's down to 4th. Wow, that was unexpected. This race keeps throwing up more surprises at every possible turn. Wow, who'd you put money on now to win this race, ladies and gentlemen? Well, that's not to jinx Shortbread, of course. Umper 225 has now got past J&B Surreal, and he's got it as well with DRS. Night Slash goes past. Here comes Night Slash for 6th as well. A double DRS tow for the McLaren. He breezes on past the Williams, and Umper goes into the pit, gets it stopped in time. A couple of drivers are in the pits now. That is Umper, Miles, who are in. Where's Viper in relation to these guys? This is important in terms of where they will feed out on circuit. Viper goes past both Umper and Miles by quite a margin as well, a couple of seconds. But Viper does have that 5-second time penalty considered, and he has to run those tyres to the end of the race, whereas Miles and Umper in particular, who's on the soft compound, will have a better tyre advantage come the end of the race. So we resume where we left off after that brief pit stop. Night Slash in 5th position. It's got J&B Surreals, Jolt and Shari all right behind him. Jolt is certainly one to keep an eye out for this race, ladies and gentlemen. He's on 5-lap old medium tyres. He's had his pit stop already. And he's going past J&B Surreal. That should be a relatively straightforward move, and it is, for 6th place. Oh, as J&B Surreal just taps the wall of champions there. But Jolt, he's 20 seconds behind the race leader that is Shortbread. He's not quite going to be close enough to, I don't think, overtake the Mercedes on pit exit. But if he can get past Night Slash, who occupies 5th place at the moment, he might just have a look at this. Wow, Jolt trying to do an overtaking move that I'd never seen before around the outside of turn 4. That would have been incredible. He's just losing a bit of time, Jolt. But he will come out. He should be net 2nd place, Jolt, following the completion of the pit stops. I'm just watching the current fights all over the circuit, but Night Slash looks like he's going to get overtaken here. Nice exit from Jolt, just about managed to dive out of the slipstream, but Night Slash with a bit of ERS, just about keeps himself in front of the Haas, and that's rain. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a bit of a turn up for the books. There is rain on circuit as Jolt tries to find a way past that McLaren. Will it be wet enough? Will we see an end to this race like we saw in Tier 2? Jolt's doing everything he can to try and get past Night Slash. He tries to go around the outside and he's through. Up to 5th goes the Haas driver. New fastest lap from Umpa 225. He's already passed Miles. We're going to have intermediate conditions potentially for the end. CT Pat picks up a time penalty. Oh, that's an Alpine round. That's a safety car. Safety car has been deployed. Wow, so strategists will be getting paid all of their money now. Shortbread pits. I think that's because one of the Alpines, I don't know whether it was Tara, Teddy or Pat, went round at the exit of the wall of turn 14. I think broke a wing or something, and it is Pat who's got no front wing, and I suspect that's what it was for. Marshals are going to have to go and clear that up. And also Dino has no front wing as well. Maybe there was 2 collisions on track. Joss has rolled the dice. Joss in the Ferrari has gone on the intermediate compound in the hope that it will be wet enough come the end of the race. Now that is a very bold decision. He is in a Ferrari, which if we're talking about real life, there have been questionable Ferrari decisions in the past. But can this be a diamond move to give Joss, and this is all of course dependent on the weather, can this be the move that takes him to a first ever Tier 1 victory? We'll find out. 2 laps of course under the safety car. So I expect the safety car will come in at the end of lap 16, 17, I want to say 17 to be honest, so we'll might have a 1 lap shootout. A couple of comments saying that the Canada doesn't get wet fast, and normally, typically it doesn't, but in the last race of Tier 2 we did see the weather change within 2 laps, so track conditions change within 2 laps, so who knows? A reduced speed under the safety car, we might see some frenetic end to this race. What this has done as well is it's reshuffled the field for those that, you know, had to pit or hadn't yet pitted it under the safety car. They've gained themselves a free pit stop effectively. So Shortbread will be a bit frustrated. Not only has his 7.5 second lead been eradicated, he's got Ben Roberts behind him again. So that could be some fireworks once more. There won't be any DRS for the end of this race as well. We don't have enough time to activate it. We'll soon find out. Jolt then is in 3rd. Jolt, of course, one of the drivers who hasn't pitted under the safety car, so he's found himself as a beneficiary of track position. Joss will be praying that it starts raining heavier than what it is, otherwise he will sadly drop like a stone on those intermediates. Night Slash just put a comment in whilst under safety car to say that he's had an orange wing for the whole race. On my screen, unfortunately, from the replay angles, I cannot see any damage, but no denying that what Night Slash has said is to be false or to be true. We've just got to take his word. Hopefully he can make something of this in these final moments. Safety car is in at the end of this lap, so we'll get a 2-lap sprint to the end. Oh, that was a bit awkward between Miles and Umpa. Not sure why they overtook one another there, but anyway, carry on. So this will come down to Shortbread. He's got to manage this gap. He's got to fired up Ben Roberts behind him. Ben Roberts will be keen to make sure he gets away from the cars behind him. Joss will be panicking on the intermediates, and it becomes an hour race for him of damage limitation, unfortunately. But when does Shortbread release the trigger? When does he go? He's not going to do it into the final corner. Will he do it on exit? He's still slow. Now he goes. And he caught Ben Roberts on the hop. That was a really good restart. And he moves up the field. Miles has gone backwards. There's something really peculiar going on. There's a huge set of cars trying to fight for position. Joss is currently hanging on fine. Oh, a little bit of a slide for Billy Misu. He drops a place. Psycho goes past him. There's certainly a little bit of wet weather on the circuit. I wouldn't say it's enough at the moment to... Oh, Joss is round. He's lost the back end. It was too dry for his intermediates, and that's game over. In terms of a good result, he's stuck in the middle of the road as CT Pat faces the wrong way as well. But Shortbread leads just about from Ben Roberts. That was a really good restart from the Mercedes. Jolt is third. Then there's a bit of a gap backwards to Psycho in fourth place. Miles is fifth. Billy Misu's sixth. And look who's in seventh. It's the recovering championship leader of GRL Viper, who has a bone to pick with the cars in front of him. In fact, he's got a really good exit on the approach to turn 10 down the inside on the soft tyres. And Viper moves into sixth place. Can he get any more positions? Well, perhaps he will, because he got rid of his time penalty. And Miles and Psycho can't. So fourth place could yet be on the cards for the Red Bull. Night Slash goes past Billy Misu for seventh place. Billy's struggling on those medium tyres. Shari in ninth place. Then you've got Terra Teddy in 10th, but he's looking for a move on Shari. Oh, a little bit of contact down the main straight. That's not what you want. And Terra Teddy picks up a time penalty, so that's frustrating for him. Oh, no, they need to give each other a bit more room than that, do Shari and Terra Teddy. So Dino moves up to 10th as a result of their malaise. But we are on the final lap. And Shortbread is still in front of Ben Roberts. He's got ERS available to use. Ben Roberts does as well. But at the present time, Shortbread will be just running around, making sure that he wants to finish in first on circuit. But can Ben Roberts get away from Jolt? Jolt's 2 seconds behind. We're on the final couple of corners. All the ERS that Ben Roberts can use down this back straight. He's going to try and catch up to the back of Shortbread. He's closing, he's going to try and make a move for the lead. Shortbread defends. Here comes Ben Roberts for the lead, Oh, they just about survive it. Shortbread, 224 is going to win the race here at Canada, the first race of the evening. Ben Roberts will be third. Jolt ends up taking that position. Third goes to Ben Roberts. Viper, thanks to the penalties, takes fourth place, so a good recovery for him. Psycho fifth, Night Slash sixth, Billy Misu in seventh, Shari, great result for eighth, Miles ninth, GRL Dino finishes in 10th place. Wow. That was a fantastic end to that race. Lots of drama. But it is Shortbread 224 who comes out with the race win. And that'll be critical for his defence in terms of the championship. And Night Slash gets driver of the day according to the game. Which is fair enough if he's been driving with an orange front wing. And credit to the McLaren driver to get into the points. Well, that will be Shortbread, race winner in the first race of the evening here at Canada. Well done to him. That's one on the board for the season. Jolt in the end finishing second. His decision not to pit again, stay on those medium tyres paid off. Ben Roberts was third. GRL Viper, a recovery in the end to finish fourth. That was important for him. I know that Viper is in the comments as well. Viper, what happened at the start in terms of your launch? I'm curious to know about that. Psycho up 9 places in the end to finish fifth. The Psycho was well on for a podium, maybe even contending for the race win had he have not made that mistake. But nevertheless, he did. Night Slash was 6th with Billy Misu 7. That's a good result for Billy Misu. Some points for AlphaTauri. A for Shari, his most competitive drive so far this season. Miles in 9th, he finished where he started, and Dino gets a point for Red Bull in 10th place. Umpa 225, JB Surreal, Nasty G, Josh, his decision to go on the intermediates didn't play out in the end for him. Terra Teddy and CT Pat all finishing, and Sachetto 88 happily has joined us for the second race. I've just seen him join the lobby, which is good news. Viper is saying that his clutch is broke, so he has to do AI starts. Oh, that is not ideal. You'd question, Viper, whether it's worth you even starting from pole position at this point. At least if you started last, you wouldn't lose any spots from the start. So we just have a little moment, a little breather, whilst the drivers have a chat in the post-race lobby. I'm just going to go and have a look to see what the drivers are saying. A lot of people are saying about the race. It was quite frenetic, quite chaos. I think the comments really for the second race is for the drivers to ensure that they just keep their noses clean. There was a couple of bits of contact in that race that was unnecessary, as I commented during the time. But we are getting ready now for the second race of the evening, of course. This is a special format for this season, for this race, this event. 225% races as opposed to the typical 50%. And the drivers have said what they needed to say in the first post-race discussion. Let's see how they get on in this one then. So if you're watching live on the Twitch chat, do comment who you think is going to win in this second race of the evening. In terms of the championship standings at the moment, GRL Viper still comfortably leading the championship. He was 25 points in front of Shortbread going into this event. It's obviously 25 points for a win, but Viper managed to recover to fourth place, which is worth 12. So by that basis, Viper still leads the championship by 13 points at the moment. But we have a second race. It's a clear blue sky for qualifying. Question of rain for this one-shot qualifying here at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in the wonderful city of Montreal. And how will the competitors get on around this 2.7 mile circuit? Once again, the action is going to be fast and frenetic, but here we go. Drivers qualifying is live, so how will they get on? Will they be able to put... Oh, JMB Surreal has retired. I suspect he's not crashed, I suspect he's just gone and retired early on. Let's have a look at the first sector times then as they come through. See who's got the best lap. It is Jolt, who is fastest so far. He looked really quick during the race. But it seems that there's very close fights for pole position at the moment. It's very close between what I have to say is the top 5 currently from what I can see. Ben Roberts leading the way in the second sector though, in the McLaren. So what will we have? It'll be a sprint up the hill. It'll all come down to who gets the better exit out of the turn 14, the Wall of Champions complex. Got to be so committed for the chicane. which everybody looks like they are doing. This is going to be close for the pole position. It is Jolt 7 by 9 thousandths of a second from GRL Viper. Ben Roberts and Psycho invalidated their laps on the final corner, and Jolt takes it. His first pole of the season. And he will be ecstatic with that. The Haasman is in the lead, and he'll lead the race for the start of race 2. On the front row with him, GRL Viper, 8 thousandths according to this split screen. So there we go, 8 thousandths, not 9. Shortbread is on the front of the second row with Umpa 225 alongside him, good for his championship. Billy Misu and Joss are 5th and 6th, GRL Dino and X90G 7th and 8th. Shari is 9th with Sachetto joining in for the second race, he's in the top 10. Night Slash is 11th, CT Pat 12th, and then drivers who didn't set a lap include Miles, well, the competitive lap, Psycho, Ben Roberts, Terra Teddy, all disqualified thanks to track limits. Well. And Ben Roberts was in the lead on the approach to turn 13 as well. So, well, he's going to have a mission on his hands. It's looking again like a dry race. There's a bit of cloud in the sky, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too bad. I don't know if anyone is in the lobby to say otherwise. Now, with Viper having problems with his clutch, will he be able to get off the line, or will he have to rely on the AI to get him off the grid, which will be completely random as to whether he gets off okay, but we'll soon find out in the remaining seconds. We're about to start here at Canada for race 2 of the evening. It's the Haas on the right hand side and the Red Bull on the left. Who's going to make the best getaway? And the race is live from Canada. Looks like Viper's got a decent start this time. He's alongside Jolt as they go into turn 1. Are they going to be brave? They are. They go side by side, wheel to wheel, but Jolt stays in front. He's going to have the traction on the exit of the corner, and he keeps the lead. Shortbread's third. Umpa and Dino side by side. What a start from Dino. He's up to 4th. Another flying start from the Red Bull. He's got his starts hooked up perfectly. Umpa trying to fight back in the approach to turn 4, but turn 6, that isn't going to happen. Billy Misu is in 6th place, Josh 7th, Natty G 8th, Shari 9th, Sachetto rounds out that top 10, and CT Pat's had a good start, he's up to 11th, good for him. So in terms of the compound tyres, looking at it at the moment, Viper is on the hard compound tyre. He's deciding to run a different strategy to everybody else apart from Billy Misu in the field. Jolt is on the soft, so he's got to make those work as soon as he possibly can. He's got to try and get out of that DRS range. If he can't do that, he won't be able to drop Viper all the cars behind him. Shortbread's on the mediums, Dino on the softs, Umpa on the medium tyre. So the Red Bull's going for the same strategy of running, opposite strategies, I should say. And Dino will be collecting soft tyre data for his teammate to see how they will be later in the race. Shari has gone into the pit, so he's got a broken front wing. But that was what seems to be quite a clean start, apart from whatever's happened to Shari. I'm just going to have a little check and see what's gone on there. He has pitted, and I think he has got a front wing change as well. So, unfortunate for him. But Jolt is pushing hard. He knows how hard he has to get on with. That's the pit stop strategy. Mediums to go to lap 11, the hards. Allegedly 3 laps earlier, but that's more because the opportunity and the time gained being on the mediums come the end of the race. So a lot of tactical play at work here. Now, Viper also has to be careful himself. He's running in second at the moment, but he's got his main championship rival right behind him on a softer compound tyre on the mediums, and he knows that if he keeps within DRS, he's going to have an opportunity to get past the Red Bull. Dino, that's a good start for Dino. He'll want to try and consolidate that place at 4th. So far, so good. DRS, the drag reduction system, now available on this lap as Jolt crosses the line. Let's see how everybody responds now with DRS available. Looking at the 2 drivers who disqualified themselves earlier thanks to the issues that they had cutting the corners, or But extended track limits, I was just about to mention Psycho, and I joined him as he got turned around. It looked like a racing incident, but Psycho's dropped to 16th. Ben Roberts is only 12th after starting a bit further back. Oh, Viper has picked up a time penalty. He's doing everything he can to try and keep in DRS range of Jolt so that he doesn't get far away. And I mentioned this in the Tier 2 race. If pair of races, if the driver in the lead doesn't get away and he's on a soft compounded tyre, it's very, very difficult for them to pull away, because the drag reduction system is worth so much time around here that it just keeps those on the harder compounds close together. That is Ben Roberts round on the exit of turn 10. So from bad to worse for Ben since that qualifying session. And the man to watch out for, the top three are already pulling away from Dino. He's 2 seconds behind, but Dino himself is 2 seconds clear of Umpa. Ben Roberts picks up a time penalty to add insult to injury. The man to watch out here is Shortbread. He's on a good strategy, medium to soft. He could run to the end if he wanted to do that. Viper could also do hard tyre to soft tyre. And he's got DRS, he'll be able to maintain the pace of Viper. He's in a very good position. Doesn't have to worry about anybody behind him. A couple of cars start having a few issues. One question in from Pierrick saying, why hard are the best tyres? I don't understand. It's the difference really, Pierrick, in this one, that the hard tyre, the hard compound tyre around here, doesn't have much speed deficit compared to the soft around a traditional track. So if you went to Portimao last week, which would be a great example of it, the softs are 2 seconds a lap quicker than the hard tyre. But around Canada, the softs are maybe 1.2, 1.3. So the offset is mitigated. And that means the hard tyre runners can just do a very quick stint on them, get rid of them, jump onto the mediums, and away they go from there. Ooh, there's a little bit of fighting going on between the Alpines for 10th place, and Terra Teddy goes into the point-paying positions. I've got to say, it's a good showing from Pat. Running competitively, he's in 11th at the moment. Really good to see. But the top three still close together, still running in a DRS train at the moment. Ben Roberts has gone to the pits, he's gone for the hard tyres, so it's damage limitation at this point for the McLaren driver. But Viper, again, he's got DRS available to him. See that straight line speed is working with the red. Can he get a good exit out of the final chicane? He can, but it's not quite as clean as what Jolt did. And he won't be close enough, I don't think, to make a move into turn 1. But what I will say is that the soft tyres, the best of the tyre will have gone now. Ooh, and Jolt having a nice sliding moment through the turn 2 right-hander, but that wouldn't have helped his tyre wear at all. But the best of the soft tyre will have gone away now. And it all comes down to how the driver can then manage the tyre through the rest of this stint. Again, Viper has DRS, not close enough for a move approaching turn 8. But he won't mind too much as long as he gets a good exit off the slow turn 10 hairpin. This is where the softs will still have a traction advantage over the hard tyres, and you can see that there. That's quite a margin, but Viper's a lot closer than he has been for the race so far. Here he comes in the slipstream of Jolt. Going to be a little bit too far back, but can he set it up once again through the 2 corners to end the lap? He can. That's a good exit. DRS, Jolt moved too late. Viper's on the inside, but Jolt's hanging it around. Little bit of Jolt half spins. He gets away with it. He's going to lose time. He won't be pleased about it. I don't think there was much in that. It looked more of a racing incident of just tyre-to-tyre contact between the two from my perspective. I'm sure other people might disagree or agree with that, but moving on. Viper leads as a result. Shortbread is up to second, but he will now have DRS. And what will Viper do at this stage? Will he decide to run the hard tyres for as long as possible, or will he go with the typical strategy and pit now or in the next lap? That question remains to see. And Billy Misu has, I think, just left the session actually. Yes, he has indeed. I'm not sure. I hope he's got a. Hope he can get back in, because he was running in 8th place. Shortbread just closing that gap down on Viper. He's not close enough to shake for a move just yet. And Jolt is in the pits, so the soft tyres of Jolt and GRL Dino have fried enough. They feel it's time to get on a new set of what should be medium tyre compounds. And sure enough, Jolt and Dino pick those medium tyres. Someone else in the pits as well. It looks like JMB Surreal. No, it's not. My apologies. It's Xnati G. He's put on the medium compounded tyre as well. So the soft tyre runners have all pitted. Let's see how the rest of the drivers get on who haven't made a pit stop just yet. So at the moment, Viper leading the way. Joss is right behind Umper. Gotta say, Joss, a man on a mission after the strategy call that he tried in the last race. It didn't work out. Ooh, to say that he gets a little bit of oversteer on exit. But he is in the DRS of Umper. As Miles goes past Billy Misu for 5th place. Psycho up to 8th now. And he's got a chance to get past Terra Teddy for 7th. She should be able to do. And he flies on past. And into 7th goes the Aston Martin, providing that Terra Teddy... Oh, Terra Teddy just ran out of road. A little bit of contact between himself and Mike Slash, but nothing doing. They carry on. I think Terra Teddy underestimated the amount of grip that he needed for the right-hander at turn 2. Shortbread just tracking Viper at the moment, so clearly Shortbread happy with the strategy to just sit in the wheel tracks of the Red Bull in front of him. Joss a lot closer to Umper than he has been before for the fight for 3rd place. He's got a very good chance here of getting past the Williams. DRS open. Umper goes to defend, and then Joss shapes for the outside. They're going to be side by side into the final corner. But Joss gets through. That's a good overtake. Can Umper get a good exit? He's very close to the rear wing of that Ferrari. He's going to have to make a defensive shape, which he does. Can he go round the outside, Umper? That's brave. And it is indeed. They're side by side. Umper gets the exit. Joss now has their traction. They're going to be level going into turn 3. They're still level going through turn 4, but Joss has to back out of it and keeps 3rd place. That's good fighting between the two. Really good racecraft. Wow. That was a good bit of action on circuit. It's been relatively quiet, I would say, thus far in the session, and it's been a method of intrigue for the drivers competing so far. Just keeping on the overall time gaps of where everybody is. There are some interesting decisions going on from drivers at the moment who've pitted. That might bring him into play later in the race. I'll tell you who they are shortly. But Viper and Shortbread still together on circuit. And I think Viper at this point has decided that he wants to run as long as he can on this hard compound tyre before he jumps onto the softs, but he will be susceptible to Shortbread behind. Shortbread will naturally go to the soft tyre, and I think Viper will do the same as Terra Teddy pits from 9th place. Drops a good few positions. Dino and JMB Surreal in 10th place, side by side. That's Dino going round though. Around the outside, Dino moves up to 10. Both Red Bulls back in the top 10. Terra Teddy, who was on the medium tyres, has pitted for soft, so he is the first driver on that medium compound, started on the medium compound, has moved over to the softer tyre. See how they get on from there. Shortbread and Viper still locked in this battle. Shortbread really closing the gap down here at the moment. And Shortbread plays the dummy and gets into the pit lane. So Shortbread goes for the medium compounder tyre, and Viper will have to push. Don't forget, Viper has that time penalty that he has to contend with, that 3 seconds. It's going to count against him at the end of his race time. Where does Shortbread feed back out, though? This is important. He doesn't want to come out in traffic. This is going to be close. Shortbread, he's approaching the exit of turn 2. He's just in front of Billy Misu, and that's exactly where he needed to be. That is a good rejoin for Shortbread. He needed that position, and he's in front of Billy Misu, who's on that hard compound tyre. Shortbread rejoins in 5th place. Mercedes team getting that quietly. And Toto Wolff will be very happy with his team. So, lap 12. How does Viper respond to this then? Does he pit now, or does he carry on and hope for an incident or a safety car potentially? What does he do? He's responding into the pits then. Goes GRL Viper, our race leader. Umper also joins him in the pits, and Umper gets a time penalty, unfortunately. But Miles carries on. Terra Teddy has crashed out. No, he hasn't. He's just left the session. Right, Viper, he's coming down the pit lane now. He's trundling along, 49 miles an hour, 50 being the maximum. Can he get out in front of Shortbread? The answer is quite comfortably no. In fact, he's nowhere near Shortbread. The gap is 5 seconds between the two. And Viper picks up another time penalty for his troubles. So Shortbread on those soft tyres must have found absolutely something incredible on that outlap. Wow. So it's a Mercedes 1-2 with Miles leading the way. Shortbread in 2nd place. Miles, of course, still yet to pit. Jolt in 3rd place. Now, don't forget, this is another thing for Viper to contend with. Jolt doesn't have to pit. And I was going to mention this before when I said there's a driver that had made an interesting decision, but I'll tell you about it later. This is the time. Jolt's on the medium tyres. He doesn't have to worry about a penalty. He's got none. And if he wants to keep that, what will be 2nd place on the road, just needs to keep Viper behind him, whose breeze is on past Night Slash to get into 4th. And Shortbread sets the fastest lap of the race. That is a man on a mission. He's within DRS of his teammate, who I don't think will hold him up too much if team orders are employed. Still a couple of drivers who haven't pitted yet. Night Slash being one of them. He's running in 5th place. In fact, he is the only other driver apart from Miles now, as JMB Surreal has boxed for a set of soft compound tyres. I have to say, Viper has really caught up to the back of Jolt. There is a chance on for an overtake here at turn 8, but the Haas stays in front for the time being. You can see the difference between the tyres. Here's a chance for Viper. Using what ERS capabilities he's got. He tried to think about a move at turn 10. He doesn't do that. And look at this for team orders. Miles just moves out of the way for his teammate. Viper trying to overtake Jolt as they approach turn number 13. Viper's got the overspeed and he's through before they even get to the corner. Viper moves into 3rd place, and after this lap, there are 3 remaining after lap 15. There's a yellow flag out on circuit. That is for Sachetto, who's spun at the exit of turn number 10 at the hairpin. So now we're starting to see a little bit more of a typical order Night Slash still being the odd one out though. That's what I'm thinking from what Jono Power rather, said in the comments. Viper must have had a mistake. That's the only thing that I can think of to come out so far behind. Maybe a second, 2 seconds that the soft can gain on the hard tyres earlier on. But Viper might have had a little issue somewhere that's lost them a bit more time. But nevertheless, the race runs on. Night Slash still yet to pit. And I feel that time is running out for the McLaren to get a pit stop in here. And if he does pit, which he still hasn't done, he is going to rejoin outside of the points in potentially 12th place with his teammate Ben Roberts. Wow, that is a bit unfortunate. Now, the other thing to factor in, that Viper has 6 seconds worth of penalties. He's 2 seconds clear of Jolt, and there are 3 laps remaining, including the one that we're currently on. Can Viper get 6 seconds clear of Jolt? If anybody can do it in this league, you'd look at Viper to potentially do it. But we will soon find out. There aren't many drivers left in the league as well in terms of this race tonight who haven't got a time penalty. But Shortbread, Joel, Joss, Miles and JMB Surreal are the 5 drivers yet to pick up a penalty. So fair play to them. Shortbread though must be thinking this is a dream come true. As it stands, he's on for back-to-back wins. And he will have firmly announced himself as the main challenger to Viper's championship lead. I've got to say, Viper is flying. He's 3 seconds clear now of Jolt, who needs his bike on really, because he's going to miss out on second if this carries on. Joss moves past Night Slash into 5th place. Night Slash still has to pit. This is the last lap that Night Slash can pit, otherwise he gets disqualified from the race. I don't know if he was hoping for a safety car or something, but this has not worked out. As GRL Dino goes past it for 6th place. Much more like it from Dino. He's going to get himself the best result of the season. Miles now makes it 5 drivers to 4 for those that haven't got a time penalty yet. So Miles picks up 3 seconds there. Viper is pushing unbelievably hard. Got to say, Shortbread looks as if he's just managing his time, managing his ERS. I think he's pushing too hard. He knows that he doesn't have to worry if Viper even does get past him. But the gap between Viper and Jolt, 4 seconds, 4.2 seconds. Going to be close to the end. Viper is really giving it his all. Nasty G going past Night Slash. Or should I say Night Slash going past X Nasty G. And Night Slash now pits, which is peculiar. But the McLaren team and Andrea Stella clearly have a different strategy in mind for the McLaren as he drops out of the points. He should come out there in 11th place, so to be fair to Night Slash, it's not costing more time than I thought it would have done. But yeah, final lap of the race. Shortbread just needs to coax the Mercedes home for a double race victory for the evening. I think Jolt will be a little bit frustrated with what went on during the race. He'll think that he should have had maybe a race win tonight. In the end, it didn't play that way, and Viper has shown his speed once again, but it's Shortbread 224. He clips the chicane, avoids the wall of champions. It's Shortbread 224 for a double race victory tonight. He wins it. GRL Viper is second. Jolt, it's going to be oh so close towards the line, but he gets second place. Viper third. Umper's got a penalty, so Joss ends up finishing 4th. That's a redemption arc for race 1. Umper ends up 5th. Natty G is 6th on the list. Miles ended up 7th. Dino in 8th, so he ended up losing out on 6th place to Dino. Psycho 9th, and Billy Misu gets the final point, which I'm sure you'll be pleased with. Night Slash is 11th, who end up where he is. JB Surreal 12th. Shari will finish 13th. Chetto is facing the wrong way. So CT Pat will beat not only him and Ben Roberts as well. So that's a really good result for Pat. That is his best performance. And Ben Roberts snatches fastest lap right at the end of the race as well. That was a great finish at the end, by the way. That was really good to see. I only caught it in the background as it was happening, so I didn't quite catch who the three drivers were, but that was a good run to the line. We'll be doing interviews, of course, with the drivers. Following the loading screen, but there is the man of the hour here at Canada, the Mercedes driver of Shortbread 224 is your double race winner for this evening. A really good performance from him. Jolt ended up second in the Haas, third for Viper in the end thanks to his penalty, fourth for Joss, fifth for Umper, sixth for Natty G, seventh went the way of Miles, eighth GRL Dino, ninth Psycho, 10th Billy Misa getting that final point. Everybody else outside of Terra Teddy, who retired earlier on in the session. But good points for Williams and Mercedes in the championship fight, because both of those teams had two drivers in the top 10, as did Red Bull. Credit where credit's due, of course, with both Viper and Dino. But Mercedes will have hauled a lot more points to close that constructors fight down. And Williams will be trying to make an impression on the top three as well. They want to get into that fight. Joss, fourth place for him, the Belgian driver. He'll be happy with the second race result, but his intermediate tyre call didn't work for race one. So it's a couple of points missed out, but that was a quietly assured drive from the Ferrari. He certainly acquainted himself well from tier 2 to tier 1. I'm sure that he'll be very, very pleased. So we will be doing interviews shortly. And Gavra has just set up the chat for people to participate in some interviews that we've got. So we'll wait and see who does join us. And we've got a couple of them just coming in now at the moment. So we've got Viper in, we've got Jolted. I'm hoping to get Shortbread in, our race winner from both sessions. I do hope he's willing to join us. I do want to have a good conversation with him about everything that went on this evening around the wonderful Gilles Villeneuve circuit. But we'll give everyone a few moments. If anybody has any questions that they're curious about asking in the live Twitch chat, do feel free to put them in. But we will wait to see how if everybody joins. I'm waiting to find out if Shortbread is going to come in. Someone has just joined the chat, don't know who it is. Ah, good news, it is Shortbread. I'm glad he has joined. I just want to have a chat with him about that. So I think that's that in terms of drivers who are joining for this evening. So fortunately we've got the top three from race 2 who've joined in, and of course the man who scored pole position for the race and the double race winner as well. So let's see how we get on. So Shortbread, I hope you're there. Please do unmute your mic But first of all, congratulations, Shortbread, to you. Double race win for you. How does that feel?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Finally, I got my race win. As ages, but I didn't really expect that pace. I thought Canada was all right for me, but double win, I was not expecting that at all. So, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I can imagine you're really happy with that. Is the championship back on then?
Yeah, I'd say so. Hopefully, I think I said in the chat. I think it's drawn now. We're both on me and Viper on 0 points between us. So that should be interesting to see what we can do for the rest.
Yeah, I think that it's very close between the two of you now in terms of the calculations. I will have to have a look into it. But what was it? What went so right for you today? Like, why? Why did you not think it was going to work out that way? And what did you do that just made it feel comfortable for you?
Yeah, I think race one, I think I got the strategy perfect. Starting on mediums, that was perfect when the rain started in the safety car. So obviously going very straight to softs, and that went perfectly, so that helped. And then race two, I don't know, I just didn't get a penalty, had good pace. I don't know what happened to Viper actually, because when I pit, he was right there, but then he came out the pits and he was like 5 seconds behind, so he must have made a mistake, and obviously that helped. So yeah, I don't know, I just guess I had good pace.
Yeah, I was in a bit of surprise at that as well, and I do think he has had a little error, but I'm going to ask him that in the question shortly. But one last question for you, Shortbread, before we move along, and well done for you. I think you're the first person in quite a long time actually who's got a double race victory of an evening since last season. But Mexico is next week. Is that a track that you're strong at, or is that a track where you just think, track limits, not fan of?
Yeah, it's not great for me. It's that S section on this game, like the curbs are so high, you go near them, like full throttle, anything, you're gone. So it's all right, but yeah, it's not amazing. I look forward to Saudi Arabia though.
The race after, absolutely. Well, congratulations on your double victory, Shortbread. That was really good driving from you. Well done.
Yep, cheers.
Okay, so we'll move it on to Viper, the man who recovered in the first race after the shenanigans that went on at the start of that, and then also finished third. So it was a sort of damage limitation for Viper. But would you agree with that assessment, Viper? What do you think?
I mean, it is a very difficult race to digest, of course. So much happening, and especially the start. If you want to know what happened, basically, my Logitech clutch, it pretty much doesn't work. So when I hold my thing at the start, then it just doesn't go off. It just says hold clutch, can't release the clutch at the start. So that's why I had to go AI start, which tells why I got that start with Stroke J. But overall, it's a really big mess, and of course it's going to be very difficult getting the championship. I'm not sure what the gap is, but I mean, I'm not going to be here for next week, and I'm not sure what's going to happen for the future. But it's going to be very difficult to get this championship back on the roll. But these two races were just an absolute hellhole, if I would say that.
Yeah. Well, so Mike, because Shortbread brought this up, and I also said it when you came out of the pits on race 2. You were 5 seconds behind. Did you have a mistake on your in lap? Because we didn't catch it.
Clutch in the pits.
Yeah.
I tried to go in the AI during the pit, but it just wouldn't let me. So I had to quit. I was spamming my clutch like absolute hell, and it just would not release. But Shortbread's a really good driver. I know I have massive respect for him. He deserved these both wins. I closed like 5 seconds to him, after the pit stop, because I went absolutely crazy. I just didn't have it at all. I was really annoyed, especially with the clutch, because these two races will be important, because if I've got 2 races I'm going to be missing, which are Imola and the next race Mexico. It's going to be very difficult. So only one race, and AK it's Shortbread's strongest track, which is Saudi Arabia. So it's going to be very difficult, and it's just going to take luck, to be fair, if I want to get this championship back. But of course, I want to try and see what my points are. There's still penalties which can still be applied in the first race as well as the second. So hopefully, so some of those penalties do help with the championship. But if I'm going to be honest, on my bets on the championship, I think Shortbread's just going to come on him and win it again. But I think for now, I just got to stay in P2. I'm gonna anything can happen really. Maybe I might be able to attend Mexico. But that's pretty much like a 5% chance. But overall, I'm quite annoyed and happy at the same time. I finished P4, and overall positives I can take out is just I got a podium at least, which was good, but I definitely could have done a lot better. And with that clutch, it's just like unlucky because like literally, I had no idea it happened. I was like, what on earth is happening? I was so annoyed. And yeah, overall, it's going to be very difficult if I want to try and get this championship back on the roll. But as I said again, but yeah, that's what I've got to say today.
Yeah, absolutely. I can understand your frustration when it's a technical issue that sort of costs you a chance at competing for the title, as you say. And if you're missing 2 rounds, that's going to be a tall order. Not impossible, of course, but we will find out. One question then, because I can't obviously ask you about Mexico.
Yeah,
but I can ask you about Jeddah. Is that a track that you like?
Yeah, it is a strong track for me, but I think Shortbread, talking about the pace between me and him is going to be quite a big gap. Of course, I'm trying my best to, try and remain calm here because I'm going to absolutely go mental after what happened with the technical issue. But for Saudi Arabia, I am feeling okay. Of course, it's a very difficult circuit to get, the perfect lap, and because the corners and the high-speed corners, just the tires just put so much under pressure, and you just got to keep it on track. So it's gonna be an interesting one, I think, especially with the sprint as well, which adds a bit more excitement. But if I want to get this championship, I was gonna say it again, I need Shortbread to have an absolute appalling of a race in Mexico, or maybe he gets like 4th or 5th, and then I'll maybe try and put a little bit back on Saudi Arabia. But anything can happen. There's still 3 races left, so I'll try my best to regain my momentum and take out the positives and try and improve for next race. But I knew it's going to be a difficult one around Canada. But of course, thanks everyone for the races and everything. It's been great, especially with Jack's commentary. It's just been absolutely sublime, and it was amazing just to hear the voice of him commentating, because to be fair, you're a really, really good commentator, better than me, to be fair, with 2 years of experience. So yeah, but thanks everyone. I think that's everything from you and myself.
Thanks, Viper. I really appreciate those comments. Thank you very much for that. Well done on the recovery at least.
Great, yeah, thank you.
Okay, so that's the voice of Viper. We'll move over to Jolt, the man who scored his first pole position within our leagues here at Gavra Racing. Hopefully, Jolt, you've got your mic unmuted. I can see it's on mute at the moment, so hopefully, there you go, you switched it off. Pole position, 2 second places today, Jolt. How does that feel?
Yeah, it was, honestly, the pole position was quite nice, but I feel like I was on the wrong strategy those both 2 races. But still happy I scored P2 for the both of the races. But the first race was a bit unlucky in my opinion, because I was on mediums, and it was just that safety car was perfect for the. I started on soft, and the safety car was perfect for the medium runners. So it was a bit unlucky in my opinion. So, but the second race. Also, I was thinking, how did Viper get that crazy of a rocket ship start on the hards? But he told just that it was on AI mode. So
Yeah,
I was thinking, like, how did he almost get me on hards while I'm on softs at the start? That was crazy. But yeah, of course.
Yeah, just to add on, if you didn't know, I had technical issue with my wheel, so I had to go in AI start. Otherwise,
yeah. I just heard, but I was thinking, like, what the fuck is going on? What's it for a crazy start? But yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, Jolt, because 2 second places, you've evidently got the speed. What do you need to take this first win that just seems to be just within your grasp, but you can't quite make it? Do you need a bit more luck, or do you think it's strategy? What do you reckon?
I think it's setup and yeah, I think it's basically setup wise because I don't really have good setups, but I just don't have really the time to build them or to try my best in time trial to yeah, I don't really have time for that shit. So I think it's that, and also yeah, Viper and Shortbread are insanely fast. So maybe it's a lack of talent, but I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's certainly a lack of talent considering the speed that you've demonstrated with the pole and the 2 second places, and you were fighting for the victory today. I did want to ask you about that. There was a bit of contact between you and Viper at turn 2. What happened there? Was it just a case of you were both running in the same place, or did you just have a bit of understeer? What do you think?
I think it was just a race accident. I just watched it back, and yeah, there's not really someone to blame on. So yeah, it's just a race accident. Yeah, that can happen. So yeah, just unlucky.
Absolutely. Well, there is one more question for you. I always like to ask about next week. We're heading to Mexico for our races. How do you feel about Mexico, Jolt? Is it a track that you like, or is it a track that you...
I honestly like Mexico a lot. I think we raced before there. It was quite close between me and Viper, I think. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to next week on Mexico.
Absolutely. Well, that's good positive attitude to have. Hopefully you can break that victory duck because you're so close through this season. And we'll see how it plays out for you. But well done on the pole position and 2 second places today, Joel. Well done.
All right, thank you very much.
Fantastic. Well, that is it, everybody, for the evening's action within Tier 1 and, of course, Gavra Racing across both Tiers 1 and 2. As mentioned, we'll be back next Sunday, of course, of the typical time that we have for Tier 2 at 5 at BST, and then we have the Tier 1 running at 8 o'clock British Standard Time. I've been Jack TM53, your commentator as always for Gavra Racing's Weekend League action, and wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one. See you next week.